The slow turn of the sails as they slide gracefully across the Norfolk skies shows how Denver Windmill has stood firmly in this landscape since the early 1800s. Circumstances have changed over the years, and as industrialisation flourished, windmills declined and flour production moved to the large factory roller mills.
The mill has always been a business within the local community. It's always served the community ever since it's been here, so it seems right that it continues to do so. Obviously things have changed, so it now needs new roles. What I like about it, it does still serve the community in that we're here, we're open for coffee, people come and get their bread here. It also needs to be a business in order for us to be sustainable in the long term.
Well, I'm Mark April, and I and my wife and son set up Denver Windmill Company to try and get this old girl working now and into the future.
My dreams, hopefully it will be using the mill, the two mill, the steam mill and the windmill, to be a serious large-scale production, using the wind a lot more.
People generally want to have local produced food and in an eco-friendly way, and with the windmill it appears that we can probably produce with the wind power.
Mark, Lindsay and Paul as a family have taken the bull by the horns and now oversee the running of the mill, seeing it as an environmental 21st century business model, with the mill contributing again to the local economy. It's important to realise that despite this mill being a part of history, it also works hard here and now.
This windmill was a recognised landmark for the German bombers when they went up to Manchester and Birmingham and Coventry and places like that, and that's why that never got bombed.
Well, I can remember before the war, the horse and carts used to come up here. It's all horse and cart work then, you know. Just be a chain hoist to come down there, pick the grain up the carts.
When we took it on, it was described very much as the last working windmill in Norfolk. She wants to produce flour. She's the most wonderful old machine. This isn't a chocolate box windmill. This isn't a pretty picture to look at. This is a great big machine. In the long term, as I say to people when they bring their children to look round and they're so thrilled and enthralled by it, it's important to me that their grandchildren will be able to look at it in 75 years' time, still working, still producing, and still a real living piece of the past and the culture of Norfolk.
I want people to come here and feel that they're at home here. I think what's really important is that people don't come here and feel like a visitor. I want people to come here and feel that they're part of something. They don't have to go up the mill every time they come. They don't have to buy something, but what we'd like is people to, just like being in our company and being in these wonderful surroundings.
A lot of people can't believe actually there is a working windmill, and we do actually produce flour most days, and they also can't believe that we need the wind for it to work. They think it just happens,
Milling is not without its stresses, and the most obvious is the reliance on wind speed. Just a 20-mile-an-hour wind is needed to mill here at Denver, but watching the weather forecasts shows that this doesn't happen every day.
We plan eventually to hopefully use the diesel engine to produce flour as well, if we can get a traditional set of stones that the oil engine can run. And we have had thoughts about actually running the oil engine on some sort of eco-friendly fuel as well.
Lots of initiative and common sense are needed to keep these great machines going, and the people at Denver have built up their skill to maintain the mill just as it should be, grinding the flour to bake the daily bread.
It would be nice to be able to run workshops and stuff from here as well, doing actual straight teaching, and get the kids involved in some of the other aspects, because millwrighting as a whole is just a range of different skills bolted together. Anybody who's interested in coming to helping us out and seeing how it's done, because they're all skills that have actually been lost.
The thing about our tea room is that everything's homemade. So we've got a wonderful opportunity here, which really hasn't been exploited, in that we've got our own flour that we grind here. We make our own bread. We're careful about the way we choose our coffee. We're careful about what we provide. As far as possible is local. We use free-range eggs, and We really care about the product we put out, and that's really important to us.
So really, the menu is based on the products we make here. So it's rolls and sandwiches. I mean, the Denver doorsteps, as we call them, in either white or the wholemeal. And of course, the wholemeal is always from the Windmill.
Our coffee shop is sort of the star in our crown.
To produce flour like this, we can't compete with the big flour mills. We aren't talking about trying to supply Tesco's or Sainsbury's, but the product that we are producing is something completely different. We had a gentleman a few weeks ago who tried an initial run we did of some white loaves. He came up to us almost in tears saying that he wanted us to know that he hadn't tasted bread like that since before the war. And it brought back such fond memories and made him realise that what we eat and take for bread now is not the same product that it used to be.
Since Lindsay and Mark arrived, they've got so many ideas that are opening up the whole issue and making it just a bit of history totally come to life, you know. And the local people seem to be more interested now. I think we struggled a bit for people coming, but they seem to love to come now, take a great interest in what we're doing, and that's all giving a knock-on effect. It's buzzing with life now.
So we get white flour out there, light brown, former semolina, and pure brown comes out the other end.
A family that I was talking to before they went into the mill, we were having a bit of a joke, and I said to them, "You make sure you get to the top, get right up into the cap and see what's going on in there, because when there's turning, it's wonderful up there." And the father said, "Oh, so I'm going to be filled with wonder, am I?" And I said, "Yep, definitely, no doubt about it." He said, "What happens if I'm not?" And I said, "Well, if you go up there and you sit up there for 5 minutes and you're not filled with wonder, I'm buying the coffee." "Right," he said, "fine." Off he went. And when they came down, I saw them coming out on the top of the steps there, and I shouted up, "Who's buying the coffee?" And he just stood there and shook his head and said, "I am." And I thought that summed up very much just how important the impact of seeing something like that is.
The Able family are keen for the mill to be part of the community, for people to see what is happening and what is planned, to spend some time taking in the mill and to experience a piece of rural Norfolk working today as a sustainable business. The modern economy can remember and use the past.